What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about VinFast. Today was one crazy day for VinFast, very volatile. So it did go down 10.77%. I'm going to go over some of the data points, options, and where I see things going, at least in the short term. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So today, like I said, closed 10.77%, a lot of volume. So 10.58 million shares being traded, 9.6 is the average. You do see a nice little spike near the tail end of the day, and that was big money buying. So these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market over $100,000. And you can see the side, anything that does show a ask is essentially a buy. So definitely a lot of good buying near the tail end, causing this nice spike up. Let me know your thoughts on that. My last video, when it was on Monday, options just opened, and I did say, and I kind of expressed my displeasure, if you want to call it that, towards the options, because the lowest strike price was around $45, which even at the time there was a big orientation towards that. So a lot of people felt that there was going to be a pullback, which in reality I think it was fair to assume that was going to happen, because you even saw massive Tesla bulls were kind of starting to talk on VinFast and how the market cap did not make any sense, because it at its peak had a higher market cap than GM, Rivian, Lucid, all combined, but yet they didn't produce nearly as much. Well, maybe a little bit more than Lucid, but obviously the other ones not necessarily so much. So when it came down to it, yes, it needed to pull back. And even if you look at the PS ratio, which I was bringing up, my last video was at 299x, whereas right now it's 197. So it has pulled back, but definitely based on what they have produced already, it needs to pull back a lot more. And this is where, when I started to cover VinFast, which was around $13, I did say that a lot of people aren't really projecting accurately their future capabilities. So I did say that it can actually pull up to maybe around the $30 to $36 range. And when it did do that, it's kind of very justified and good, but then it just kept skyrocketing. So I think there was a lot of FOMO that was also kicking in, because a lot of people were starting to acknowledge that there was a very low float and that it potentially was going to be a short squeeze, because there's a lot of things as well when it comes down to shorts that was kind of making it appealing. Because despite all of this, there was absolutely no news whatsoever from the company, no SEC filings. There was this on their website, so it did come out on the 21st about their whole battery range. I've already touched on this, but keep in mind, anything after the 21st was just pure speculation, craziness. And as far as options though, a lot of big money is still getting in. So $62 million in calls being purchased just today versus $72 million in puts. So based on this information, it is anticipated to pull back a little bit based on the puts, of course. And if you are optimistic looking at the calls, this shows all the strike prices, expiry dates. And the bad thing about VinFast is that they only have monthly, not necessarily weekly options. So definitely not the best when it comes down to that. And one positive thing, I believe as of today, they did open up the options chain to have it around as low as $2.50. So I took advantage. I'm going to talk on that and what I did in a second. But as far as this, so if you are optimistic, it is orienting kind of towards the $40 to $50 mark by the end of September the 15th. So let me know your thoughts on that. And do you think it's going to stay within that range between, like I said, the 40 to 50, or do you think it's going to pull back? Because based on the puts during that same time frame, it is orienting to around the $10 to $20 range. So kind of conflicting viewpoints. So what's your thoughts on that? Based on the total volume though, I think it's a little bit more orienting towards kind of the $10 range. But like I said, even more so near the tail end of the day, big money was buying. So a lot of big transactions today, not necessarily large ones. So 1.84 million seems to be the highest one from today, but on the dark pool, a lot of activity based on this. You can see all the transactions that did occur. There was quite a lot. A lot of people don't like the dark pool because this is linked to shorting and many other things. So I'll give you an overview of this. So like I said, a lot of people were saying that VinFast is a very good squeeze play. And a couple of reasons why they're saying that, because the short interest is very low. Because like I mentioned, the float is very minimal, but 0.88% of the free float is being shorted. Under here, Interactive Brokers short availability actually shows 0 shares available to short. So that kind of eludes people to think that there's going to be a squeeze as well if you do combine that with this. So the cost to borrow average is 572.19%, the max being 656.4%. So those two kind of data points, and with utilization being at 100% right over here. So utilization 100%, short score is currently 61. Because of all this information, this is where people are starting to talk on how there could be a squeeze. And as far as the options chain, so I did actually sell a couple of puts today, December the 15th strike price at $5. So if you don't know options, highly suggest in researching them. They can be very, very beneficial. So if you do believe in the company and you just maybe see a downside coming, you could always sell puts or you can sell covered calls. There's a lot of different things that you guys can do out there. Keep in mind, I am not a financial advisor, so you guys always do your own due diligence no matter what. So in my case, like I said, I did sell $5 strike price puts. So if it does break below $5, then I'm going to buy it for $5 essentially, even if it goes down to $1 or whatever else. But even if it closes at $5.01 or higher, then I get to keep the premium. So in my opinion, it's kind of a win-win because essentially I get to buy a company that does have a lot of good opportunity for the price I want, or if not, I get to keep the premium. So again, kind of a win-win when it comes down to that. If you are looking for a lot of good compiled information such as this, take a look at Interactive Brokers. I do have a link to them in the description below and also the comments for a lot of this good information, including even what analysts are saying and many other things such as analyst ratings and, like I said, a lot. And based on this, I just wanted to show you this because this is brand new. The latest Morningstar report does actually put the fair market value or estimate for VinFast at $15.24. So kind of like I said about this estimate based on the options. But no matter what, when it comes down to options activity, this is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price at all. So just kind of be aware of that. As far as what is next, so with it being at $41.27, currently it is between this S1 and the pivot. So around $30.87 is a very strong support, and around 53 is that next big resistance. So again, those are the points you need to watch for, and keep in mind the spread on these is insane. So you have to anticipate that there is going to be a lot of volatility. And again, as I've said in the past couple of videos, volatility is your friend if you are doing options. So let me know your thoughts on VinFast in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, selling, holding. What is your take on VinFast, and where do you see things going, at least in the short term? Do you think it's going to go back up to maybe all-time highs, break above 93, or do you think it's going to pull back down to between that maybe $10 to $15 range? So what's your thoughts on all of that in the comments below? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, take advantage of these promos. There's only a couple days left. This one is an amazing promo, so sign up for a free account, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock can be valued up to $2,000, and you also get a $50 cash reward. So link to this is in the description below and also the comments. With all that said though, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a ton of money eventually on VinFast.